It's been exciting. There's a lot of competition throughout the entire room. Like I said, we want to have 6 guys that we feel really, really good about. And there's really, really good competition for those 6 spots right now. So I think we're in a good spot. We've come a long way. Maybe still got a ways to go, but I'm very excited about kind of finishing up spring ball here and then moving into the next phase.
Not too long after you got here and Phil got here, you guys were able to add some guys to the transfer portal. Obviously, 2 kids you were familiar with at Cincinnati. CJ from USC and Bryson Green. I know Bryson hasn't been able to do much because of the surgery, but how has that quartet helped add to the depth and the competition, and what have they provided so far? And what do you think they can provide in the fall?
Yeah, I think they've all done a really good job. Obviously, Bryson's been very limited throughout the spring, but he's done a good job just within the room with the guys. It's created a lot more competition. I think at all the positions, guys are pushing one another. But the thing that excites me the most is the reception of those guys by the guys that have already been here. Those guys have been great. Those guys have embraced them, and those guys are just living up to the competition. And I think it's making everybody better.
Is that a concern for a coach when you have returning guys and you bring in a large number of transfers? In your mind, you think, okay, we still need to see how they are embraced by the returning guys.
Absolutely, yes. It's definitely an area of concern, particularly when you don't know the room, right? I hadn't been here. I didn't know many of the guys in the room, so you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know, what the temperament of the room was in the previous year. So there's definitely a level of concern, but the guys have been great, ever since we got here, and I think they're all gelling well.
Looking at Pauling specifically, we've seen him get a lot of first team reps the past few weeks. Just what's helped him, and how has he adapted so well to make the plays that warrant those reps?
He's done a good job. He's studying the game. He studies the game. He works really, really hard at it. We're rotating a bunch of guys in there with the ones to try to give everybody some opportunities with the different quarterbacks and things like that. So I think he's done a good job in his transition. He's been able to catch on pretty fast. Obviously, with being with me for the last couple of years, the drills and things like that are the same that we've been doing. So that stuff is kind of second nature to him. Whereas, a lot of the other guys in the room are hearing it for the first time. So I think that helps from a technique standpoint, and just from learning it. Everybody kind of was learning it from ground zero together, including myself. So they've done a really good job.
Mike, Luke said the other day that you've obviously gotten a good culture in your room and kind of breeding that competitiveness. Is there any techniques or anything you do to try to make sure that that's kind of the theme of the room, or how the guys go out to practice each day?
Yeah, it starts with Coach Fick, and in the team room, in the team meetings, every single day he's talking about effort and attitude. And then all we do as coaches, as his assistant coaches, is we just go and we continue to echo that. And, the biggest thing is showing the guys exactly what it looks like when it shows up on tape, preaching that, and making sure they understand that we can teach them all the techniques in the world, but if there isn't that effort and that attitude, then none of that other stuff matters.
Mike,
He's made plays, he's made plays down the field, he's made plays in contested situations, which has been really good to see. He doesn't shy away from contact, which is good to see, especially from a young player. So, he's done a lot of things good. He's working hard. He's a smart kid. So really excited about where he's at.
He seems a little feisty. Do you like that?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love guys that are feisty. I love guys that want to go and they want to get after. They want to be physical. But guys that can, kind of get to that edge but still control themselves, control their emotions, right? We talk about playing with emotion but not being emotional, right? There's a difference in between the two. If you're a pest, that's a good thing. If the DBs don't like you, it's probably a good thing. Obviously, we got to be smart with our teammates and things like that. They've done a good job with that.
Mike, a couple of weeks ago, Luke talked about how well you guys expected that jump last year before the injury. Have you guys seen somewhat similar or even maybe higher than what you expected coming into last year?
With Will?
Yeah, with Will.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. Last year, he was trending in a very good direction. He had an injury that set him back. I think he's kind of getting back to where he was before that injury from a confidence standpoint and just, playing confidently, playing fast. So really excited about where he's headed.
You mentioned Green obviously being limited. I don't know how much you looked at his tape in Oklahoma State, but how would you describe him as a receiver, what he can bring to the offense once he can get out there?
Yeah, just watching his tape, man, he's done a great job of tracking the ball downfield. He plays really, really physical. He's a really, really strong young man. Like I can tell by some of the little things we do, and it's just a different level of strength, and he's very, very aggressive on film. So I'm excited to get him out here and get him to work.
What kind of potential do you see in Chim DK, and how have you seen him adapt to the new offense?
Chim's been great. He's been awesome, man. He's a true veteran. He's a leader in the room. Does everything you ask of him. He's Mr. Consistent. He's constantly getting better. He's constantly taking notes, wanting to get better, and he's everything that you love to in a type of player which you want to be.
With Bryson, do you foresee him receiving more reps, or do you see him progressing to the point of receiving team reps this spring? And if not, where do you foresee him possibly within that receiving room, at what positions?
It's hard to say. Obviously that's up to the doctors. That's out of my realm. Whenever he is ready to get back out there, we'll see what he can do and where he stacks up against the rest of the guys. But he'll have to earn it. He'll have to earn it, just like everybody else in the room. And when he comes back, when he gets back, he'll have an opportunity, just like everybody else, to go and earn that spot. I tell those guys all the time, they make the depth chart, not me. And so once he gets back, they'll be excited to see where he stacks up amongst the rest of them.
If I remember correctly, I believe you guys had played Super TJ the same weekend. Yeah. That's just what you remember from that visit, just trying to bring him over to something.
Yeah, so it was really my first time meeting CJ, and then obviously I had some familiarity with the other two guys from Cincinnati, Quincy. It was a fun weekend, getting all those guys around each other. And just like we said a minute ago, you're always a little bit nervous, right? You got 3 guys there, and they're all playing the same position, the same as wide receivers. How they feel about, I'm not the only guy, and things like that. Those guys are great. I'm glad we did it that way. I'm glad those guys came in there together, so they all understood. I think it was good to get the parents around. The parents don't work familiar with our staff, and really get them to get them to, they can get them to move.
Mike, we saw maybe the second offense yesterday. Just what's he been able to do to move up the pecking order here the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, Benny's done some really good things, right? He's been catching the ball pretty consistently. Obviously, he has a dimension of speed that showed up there on Saturday in scrimmage. And I think he's done a lot of really good things to earn some reps. So we're just trying to get evaluations of him, give him some opportunities with sometimes with the first group, sometimes with the second group, and continue to see what he can do and how well he can do.
Talk about how the wide receivers embracing each other, just from a team standpoint. How is this race to change this opportunity?
Yeah, I spend, I guess, most of my time with the receivers and DBs, just because we're always going against each other. And I think their reception has been great, even sometimes around the linebackers and special teams drills and things like that. So I think the reception overall has been really, really good. These guys are hungry. These guys want to be really, really good. Anything you ask them to do, they're going to give their best effort, and they're not going to complain about it. We're pushing them pretty good in the spring ball. Hasn't been any complaining. So I think the guys that have been here have done a great job of just embracing us as a coaching staff, and then obviously embracing the new players as well.
You're obviously really familiar with the Ravens good teams. What's the relationship with them like, and what's it been like coaching them too?
Yeah, it's been good. You build relationships with guys through the recruiting process. You get to know them, you get to know their families, and then obviously having them in the room, pushing for a year, and then going for 2 years, and then kind of so our relationship has been good. It's been really, really fun coaching them, and getting around. They're good football players. You got to get on there and work hard at them, and they're ask them to do. They're leaders in the community, so those are the types of guys that you want to keep around. That you want to surround yourself with, and continue to grow.
Mike, were you at all surprised by the incumbents in the room, the top 3 guys from last year, not been here before, and also seeing what they've provided so far on the field?
Yeah, I kind of reserved my judgment on them, because there's so many things that are so different, right? Like, they're going to learn different techniques, and not to say mine are perfect or mine are all right, but they're going to learn a different language, a different technique from me. And so for me to be able to judge them based off of what they're being coached from and what we're doing offensively, I reserved all that. But it's been a lot better than I think a lot of people will give them credit for. The guys that have been here, I think they are all solid. It's a really young group, not just those top 3 guys, but all the way around. So I'm really, really, really excited. It's a young room. I think it's a very talented room, in a room that has a very high ceiling.
We've seen Skylar Bell and then Keontae Lewis getting reps with the ones and twos. Just what have you seen for those guys, and what kind of skills do you think each one brings to the table?
Good. I'll start with Keontae. So, he's a guy that can really stretch the field and put some pressure on guys down the field. He's a good route runner, right? He does a lot of good things just from a technique standpoint, and he's consistently getting better and better and better. Skylar's a competitor, man. Skylar's a competitor. It's a challenge for him, right? Because he played mostly outside receiver last year. We got him in the slot right now. He's adjusting really, really well to that. I think he's getting more and more confident. I know there was some probably frustration early on because you get comfortable, you finally start to hit your stride playing one position, and all of a sudden new staff, and then you go in, you're moving inside. But he's done a really, really good job over these first 11 practices, I guess now, and he's been really, really sure-handed, and we've had some key situations in situational football where he's made some plays. So I think both of those guys have done a really, really good job and continue to grow.
I know you can't talk about recently, but just when the recruit comes in for a visit, what's your plan for how do you want to walk in, what they can go through, on a visit?
Yeah, so to me, with recruiting, number one thing is building relationships with them, right? And showing them who I am as an individual, and then talking to them about football, about some of the things that I believe in, and then we kind of progress to obviously the program, what we do throughout our program, what the receivers can do, and the difference that they can make, why their skill sets are unique, and why they fit the offense. So we kind of build, again, it all starts with that relationship piece first, right? That level of trust and that respect with them, and then kind of get into here's why I think this is a fit for both of them.
With Will, too, just what further steps do you want to see out of him for growth, spring into fall camp before the season within this air raid scheme?
The biggest thing that I've challenged Will with is just continue to focus on the details, the little things. But the bigger thing is just being a leader, right? A leader in the room, a leader in the program, and not being afraid to step into that role, right? It's always a little uncomfortable. You come into a new place, right? I'm the new guy in town and things like that. But there's a certain way that everybody has that's unique about them and an ability to lead. I think he has a personality that he can grow into that. But the number one thing, the best way to lead, in my opinion, is by example. So to continue to do the things he's been doing and growing in those areas and understanding that, Cincinnati was a little different, right? You had guys that were in front of him that were kind of the head of the room. Well, now it's a little more of an even playing field where you're fighting to be a guy, you're fighting to be that guy. Well, let's act like it, right? Everybody's looking at you now as opposed to you looking at somebody else. So I've challenged them with that pretty good, as well as some other guys in the league. Ooh, favorite play. There's been a few. I guess if I had to pick, one single one, it was probably the catch by CJ over there in the end zone. Had one-handed with the guy coming down, barreling on him. Now, I shouldn't have spun the ball. He got me cursed out for that. But that's beside the point. It was a good catch, a good play. Good to see him hold on and not really flex, catching that thing right there. Got a couple of them over here on this sideline. Chris Brooks had a really good catch down this sideline. So there's been a handful of them.
Coach Hitchell was telling us about the ISO cam that Coach Hitchell brought from Cincinnati with you guys. Has it been on your group yet, A, and then B, what's that experience like when you watch that film back, watching one guy in particular?
Yeah, it hasn't been on the receivers yet. I'm sure it's coming. I've warned them that it's probably coming. But it's a really good tell, man. Like, I love that he does that, right? Because it's a different level of accountability, right? When it's just focused on just you, you can truly tell, like, are you really straining? What is your effort really like throughout the play? They're filming you between plays. Are you jogging back to the huddle? Are you jogging back to the line of scrimmage? Are you jogging off the field when your set is over? And Coach does a really, really good job. Like I said, it starts with him, right? He does a really good job of highlighting exactly the parts that we are looking for, as well as the parts that are not really the standard of what we're looking for. And so, to me, more than anything else, that ISO cam kind of sets the culture of the program and gives guys and lets guys truly see what the expectation is.
Seems like a really good run of that, but the offense really kind of utilizes that.
I guess time will tell, man. It's new to me as well.
how have you had to personally work through and adjust your coaching styles?
Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people in college football run very similar concepts and things like that. It's just some little details here and there that are different, but you have to learn different ways of, reading things, different ways of teaching things. So I've had to adapt some things. It's been good for me to be able to learn a new system, learn a different system. It's going to continue to help me grow, and I'm excited just because of the success that the offense has had and continue to learn and grow with it. All right, thank you guys.
I appreciate it.